Iowa State University's Writing and Media Center welcomes you to an explanation of essay conclusions entitled Ending Your Papers with Flair: How to Write a Conclusion. During this video, you will gain a deeper understanding of conclusions and pick up some tips and ideas for how to write and revise your conclusion. Let's begin. Conclusions are more than the final paragraph of your paper. At their core, conclusions not only help your reader remember your argument and your main points, but also end your paper on a high note, pushing the reader to keep thinking about your ideas. In the vast majority of academic essays, a conclusion is the last paragraph of the essay. Overall, you can compare the flow of ideas in a conclusion to the shape of a triangle. The conclusion typically should begin with your specific ideas, the review of your main points, and the statement of your thesis. Then, you transition towards your final thoughts, moving your reader to encompass a broader understanding of your topic. Then, you end with a provoking thought that ends your paper with a purposeful high note. Do keep in mind that while not all disciplines use this exact structure for the conclusion, the components we will now discuss are often used in most disciplines. As you begin your conclusion, start with a review of your main points. Make sure your main points are clearly stated and that they appear in the order you discuss them in your paper. As you can see in example 1, a list clearly encapsulates the main points of this argument. A clear statement of what the study or essay covered is also an excellent way to summarize your essay's content for your reader. As exemplified in this second example, a clear statement of summary can work particularly well in scientific papers. Please pause the video to read the examples. The second part of a conclusion should be the restatement of the thesis. Pulling from your introduction, restate your specific argument. Make sure you phrase this slightly differently than your introduction's thesis to attain a fresh, yet familiar reminder of your main argument. Note that, like in example 1, you can use small transitions like "for these reasons" to move from restating your main points to restating your thesis. This can help you mix up the phrasing of your thesis from your introduction. In this second example, note the efficient restatement of the main point being made by the essay. Please pause the video to read the examples. The third move that you should make in your conclusion is a transition to your final thoughts. This move is highly dependent on your final point, so make sure that you have both the restatement of your thesis and your final thoughts written before finalizing this point of your thesis. Use this transition to prepare your audience for your final message to them. In example 1, the writer reaches out to the audience, reestablishing the idea of wearing a watch among the broader idea of wearing jewelry. In this second example, the writer reminds the audience of a result of the study and highlights the need for further study. Both of these moves are common in scientific discourse. Please pause the video to read the examples. The last piece of a conclusion is a thought-provoking ending. This can take many forms. To create the ending of your conclusion, think about whether your topic has any unanswered questions or is open to future topics of study. Honestly, quotations, imagery, a clever turn of phrase, a call to action, or emphasizing a key point of your argument can all provoke or encourage your audience to think more about your argument. Your goal here is to finish your argument on a high note while leaving your audience with some of your goals and ideas to think about. Note that, like in example 1, you can use clever words like tick, 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 or the energy of an exclamatory statement to bring your paper to a clear ending. In this second example, we can see how the writer brings our attention back to the main ideas and relevant findings of the paper to illustrate the importance of a piece as a whole. Please pause the video to read the examples. Much like an introduction, when put together, all the pieces of a conclusion come together to create a cohesive and definitive whole. In this example 1, note how the transition starts moving away from the exact message of the thesis towards the compelling final thought that underscores the main idea. Please pause the video to read the example. In this second example, see how the writer wraps up their study highlights the study's important findings, and makes a connection back out to the broader conversations this paper is adding to. These moves can end a scientific paper with clarity and strength. Please pause the video to read the example. As you write or revise your conclusion, here are some tips to remember. Maintain a specific to general flow, write a clear, arguable thesis, cite sources properly, review main points in the order you discuss them, check that the thesis and main points match your paper, try connecting the way that you end the paper to the hook in your introduction to bookend your paper, check that your reader is reminded of your main points and is encouraged to think more by the end of the conclusion. If a paper includes cited material, as this presentation has, then a works cited in MLA or references page in APA is required. Be sure you follow the style guide guidelines as you cite your sources in your text and write your end of paper citations. If you would like to bring your conclusion or any writing for some further guidance, don't hesitate to make an appointment by contacting us. We'll see you on the next writing video.